This is Marc Ponzio coming to you from the Brooklyn Crokinole Club studios here in Brooklyn. We have a match for you from the U.S. Open 2024. This is the Brooklyn team, Eat a Bag of Discs, versus Irish Steel, an Extra Pint New York club. We're about to have the volley here, and red wins the volley. They're not 100% certain of it just yet, but they're getting there. In the top left corner of your screen, you'll see Magic Mike McTague. In the bottom right, it's going to be Jay Malloy. On the left, in the blue Diner t-shirt, you're going to see Ryan Kaczynski, the Kaz, our usual announcer. And then on the right side, you're going to see the Crokinole Fairy, Lizz Mackie Donnelly herself. Oh, so here we go. Magic Mike leads us off. Comes up a little short. Lizz is going to see what she can do off that. She's just looking for a pretty straightforward angle in here, perhaps, but hits it a bit too square and ends up just knocking it around. Jay does the same thing, doesn't really manage much of a clear there, but keeps his piece on the board. In this shot, I think Ryan's going to try and angle in and hit the back of his piece, but unfortunately he lands on a peg and just bounces off the table. Still nothing in the cup. Magic tries for a follow-through, and he gets it to move in the right direction, but not quite enough and not quite the right line. Lizz, I think, decides to leave that centerpiece for Ryan on his next turn around. He has a better chance of 20ing off that. Jay just does a clear to the outside, and Ryan's looking for the touch 20 on this particular shot. He just misses, leaving a pretty bad hanger setup for Magic, so Magic is very likely going to score this. Let's see what he does. Yep, a quick touch 20. And that puts Irish Steel up in the cup by 1, although they don't have the hammer. They are slightly, I would say slightly ahead at this point. Ryan and Lizz joking about what color they are. All of the tables at the U.S. Open were using red and blue discs this year, so there's a lot of switching between red and blue colors at every table while you play. So it took them a minute just to get reoriented. All right, so Lizz is trying to angle in off this piece to the left of your screen. And she manages just a little bit of a touch and goes in. Looked like a good line. She just wasn't able to push it all the way in for the 20. A little more meat on it, or a little more mustard, as Tracy likes to say, would have probably got her a 20 in that. Jay's figuring out what he wants to do. Looks like he's trying to aim up for a double or a follow-through. Oh, he tried the follow-through, and he just came up short. That was a really good push, but it didn't quite get there. Ryan was trying to convert that hanger, but went and hit it a little too squarely, bounced off to the right, ended up in reasonable position. I think Magic's trying to leave the one on the 20 hole for Jay's next turn, so he didn't go anywhere near it. He just kept to the other clear. Didn't quite get the clear, but he did push it down to a 5-point piece, which was a good move. Jay and Magic have the advantage here with their 20 that they're sitting on, although they are not the hammer. So you could say their advantage is not that huge at this moment. Lizz getting the chance to angle in off the other piece she didn't shoot for one shot ago, but also just misses the angle in there. Jay's going to try and double through both these pieces, and he gets the double nicely. He even rolls into the 10, which is nice. Now Ryan has to try and hit the back. I think he's going to try and angle into the back of that blue piece on the center and see if he can score it. And it moves in the right direction, just not far enough. So I think he hit it just a bit too square there. Magic's going to try and take this out and get a 20 in the middle. And he goes for the touch, does get the 20, putting Irish Steel up 2, which is a nice advantage at this point against the hammer. Okay, so Lizz has to just clear this piece on the peg. She does a good job of that, ends up in the 10. Looking sharp there. We just have a lot of points on the board, but no 20s for Eat a Bag of Discs, the Brooklyn team. Jay setting up for what looked like might have been a double, but he ended up just with a single clear. I think Ryan's setting up a really complex shot here. He wants to push the front piece into the center off of the red disc. That was an interesting bump and run, and it worked right. Just didn't quite go far enough. Mike does a clear on the outside. Lizz is to try and clear and cut in if she can. At this point, blue team just needs a lot of points and a 20 if they can get it. They're getting down to the last 2 shots. A double clear from Irish Steel at this point would be humongous. It would basically ruin Brooklyn's chance of winning this round if Jay could get it. Looks like he only managed some kind of peg bounce. Couldn't quite see from the camera angle, but I think he just hit a peg and lost his piece. Now at this point, there you go, 30, 45 points. So they won by 5 points in that round. Looks like Eat a Bag of Discs is up 2-0 at this point. Lizz comes in with a heavy hanger on her first shot. Doesn't quite land it. Jay can't quite convert. Ryan has to try and touch and follow through if he can. And he puts too much speed on it, hits it too far out to the side, loses his shooter. Magic gets an open shot, and he goes a little long. Let's see. Lizz comes back here, and I think she sees a little touch from the left side, but decides not to go that way. You know, she's coming back around. Okay, maybe she's going to try this touch here. That red disc was a little far past the center line, so I didn't think it was an easy touch, but it might have been possible. Jay goes for a follow through and just blasts by everything. I think Ryan's going to maybe try a double here. Let's see what he gets. He managed to hit both of them, but he couldn't clear both of them. And then Magic is left with an interesting shot. He has to kind of go through his own or go from a side. Jay's recommending a touch 20. From the offside, from the left side, which would be a little tricky. Magic decides to do that from the right and see what he can get. Magic does hit the piece, makes a valid shot, but is not able to land in the 20 hole on that one. Lizz has a couple of options on pieces to clear here. I think the piece closest to Magic is going to be the trickiest one, so she opts for one that she thinks she has a better line on. And she does end up sitting right over, looks like half-hole shot there. Although Jay can't really get that half-hole shot from his angle. He's going to leave it for Magic. He just wants to clear the back piece. He does a good job there. Now Ryan has to figure out what to do with this. Looks like he's just going to shoot for the far piece there. And manages to clear on the close piece with a random peg bounce. The pillars of wisdom have spoken, apparently. So here we go. Jay's got this heavy hanger. He's going to try and convert. And he does a good job. Gets the clear and the 20. Putting them in great position with the hanger. I'm sorry, with the hammer. At this point, Lizz should be trying the follow-through because they're stuck on the outside of the board. This is exactly the position that Irish Steel wants. They're up in the cup. They've got the hammer, and they've got pieces just on the outside of the board. They want to try and continue this as long as possible. Ryan peels, which was a good move at this point. He needs to clear the blue pieces off the board. Lizz has a tough shot from across the board. Let's see what she can do. She opts to go through the house, it looks like. No, she decides to change her mind again. Let's see what she's got. Looks like there's a line either way. Looks like it's about the same difficulty either way. Perhaps a little cleaner from outside the house. Okay, Lizz makes that shot without too much trouble. This leaves a piece right in front of Ryan, but it's a real slim slice where I don't think he's going to have an easy time getting into the middle. Let's see if he can carve that into the middle at all. He does get it in, but doesn't land the 20. So at this point, they want to get rid of that piece. Magic can maybe get another 20 and put them in a really, really good position. Put Irish Steel in a really, really good position. He doesn't make the 20, but he ends up bouncing far enough away from the hole that it was a good bid, and it left him in good position, or a fair position. Lizz is trying to cause Jay some headache here. She wants to throw a piece on the far side of the board, but it looks like Jay can still reach it pretty well. Jay's also left-handed, so that side's not tricky for him. Ryan coming in off the centerpiece ends up with a funny bounce, and again, a takeout in a completely unexpected way. It is a funny thing to note, both Ryan and Jay are lefties in this game, and everyone else is right-handed, so sort of an unusual matchup. I don't think you see this too often. Okay, so Magic has to do a clear, although it doesn't really make much difference. We're down to the last shots, and there we go. Irish Steel takes 2 points for that round, and now it's tied up. Jay leads us off with a 20. Ryan overshoots a bit. Let's see what Magic can do. There is a chance for like a tap in 20. Looks like he's just going for the clear. Coming in from that wide angle, he's not going to be able to get any 20s out of that unless he rebounds, but it's not likely. And he hits a peg on the way in regardless. Lizz can tie up the match really quickly here with just a 20 off the sideline. And she ties it nicely. Okay, so now blue team's back in the control of this match. They have the hammer and they have an even cup. So hammer is the power position at this point. Now Ryan clears, but I would have rolled it back out of the house and just kept play going around. But still, it's not terrible. It's not in an easy spot for Magic to score anything. It's too far past the hole from his side and really far out wide. So it's not likely he's going to get any kind of 20 off that. And again, Magic just does a takeout and sits it on the inside of the house. I think in that whole interaction between Jay and Magic, Jay was just advising him to keep his piece in the house so that they can try and fight for a 20 in this round because they need to be up when they don't have hammer. Lizz rolls to the far side. Perfectly good position. It's safe. It's away from a peg. No real good bouncing chances here. I believe they call that shot when you bounce off a peg piece a Hempstead in Extra Pint, New York. Oh, Ryan's a little upset he lost his 20 there. Just about to swing at the table. Yeah, he really wanted to stay on the board with that instead of giving Magic a chance to do exactly that. Just score an easy open 20. Putting Irish Steel ahead. Let's see what Lizz can do. Looks like she swoops in with the save and ties up the 20 score. Jay just blasts right through the house. Now Ryan has a chance to put them way ahead, and he does. 3 20s to 2. Brooklyn's doing really well this round with the hammer and up in the cup. Magic ties them up at least in the cup, but still behind on the hammer. If Lizz can keep the 20s going, that will keep Brooklyn in a good position. If not, they're still in a fair position, but not as good as they were just a shot ago. Okay, and Lizz keeps it going, 4-3. And Jay keeps it going, 4-4. Can Ryan keep the 20s race up? 5-4 to Brooklyn. Extra Pint New York comes up short. Magic comes up short. So yeah, definitely in a good position here with the extra 20. Brooklyn having the extra 20 and the hammer. Lizz should focus on clearing and rolling out of the house. It looks like she's trying to find the best angle to clear this. She decides Hogan's Alley is the way to go. I think she's trying for the 20 off the inside of that piece. And she goes right through the hole, but ends up leaving them in decent position. Red's outside the house. Blue's in a bad spot for Jay. He has to try a follow-through. Jay tries his follow-through, puts so much speed on it that it just rolls right out of the house again. Ryan's just going to pick his piece here and stay on the far side of the house from Magic, ensuring that he can't get a 20, and almost just completely ensuring that they have the round. At this point, Blue does have the round, but Lizz takes the shot just for practice sake and to make sure. There you go. 5-4 in 20s, and on the board, it was about tied. So Brooklyn picks up the extra 2 points, 4-2. Eat a bag of discs to Irish Steel 2. Ryan comes up short on his open 20 shot. Magic's going to try and convert, and he does. That was a very tricky conversion. Piece was off center, heavy hanger, so it was a little bit unusual, but he managed to make it look easy. Lizz overshoots, but stays on the line and makes a trickier shot for Jay. Jay hits a peg. That actually worked out fairly well because now Ryan has a shot on the 20 here, and they can balance the score, and they do. The cup is now even, although hammer advantage is still to Mike and Jay. Mike just does a sort of a demotion there. Lizz is trying to figure out how to get at this piece. I think she's going to try and go all the way through the house, right over the hole. Maybe she picks a shorter angle through the middle. I think they're trying to figure it out now. Lizz picks a little bit shallower of an angle there and wants to go through the middle, through the center lane and out the side. And she hits it, which was good, but then unfortunately takes out the other piece in the background, and I think she's clearly embarrassed by that fact. Jay doesn't manage the 20, even though he has a pretty good open shot there. I think Ryan's going to come in and try and clear one of these out. Lizz is trying to regain her composure in the background as she laughs herself silly from that horrible shot, where she just manages to touch a piece on the far side of the board and clear her own in the backlash. All right, so Mike's back in here for a clear. Lizz has a chance to get a 20. This round could see Eat a Bag of Discs win if they are able to pull out the 2 points they get for the round. That would put them up 6-2. This match is only to 5, so it is a close call at this point. Brooklyn is up in the cup, but they don't have much board presence. Now they're even farther up in the cup. Magic reduces that lead very easily with an open 20. Let's see what Lizz does here. They need to get some clears. They need to be hitting double takeouts. Hitting a 20 is great, but you can get more points off the board sometimes with a double takeout than you can put on the board with a single 20. Removing 25 to 30 points in a one shot is sometimes more valuable than just getting the 20. Sometimes, not always. Lizz manages a single clear and leaves a piece pegged on the board. It was not a bad position. It makes it a little tricky for Jay. He's got kind of a threading the needle situation. Jay and Magic are discussing how to go through their own piece on an angled shot to try and get the 20 while simultaneously hitting the blue one out. It's a good plan, just a tricky shot. Let's see what Jay does. And he does it. He knocks his own piece off, demotes the blue piece, but gets the 20 in the bargain, and ends up leaving Irish Steel in a pretty good position. There's only one opponent's disc on the field, and they're tied in the cup. Ryan goes for a long follow and just barely misses it. His line was just a little off. He was so close you could see the expression on his face. He was just not happy about that. Okay, Magic does an angled shot and pushes it towards the center, but ends up sitting it sort of in no man's land in the 10. Sort of an easy takeout for Lizz. At this point, Irish Steel has the hammer advantage. And if they leave a piece, if Brooklyn leaves a piece in the 10 and the 15, that would be an easy win for Irish Steel. All they have to do is hit and stick and take out a piece in the 15 at the end to win. So, Lizz lost her shot on that one. Was not a good time. For an error that leaves 2 pieces on the board for Ryan to shoot for. I think he's trying for the double here, puts so much speed on it that he loses the piece. Magic going in for a single open 20. He gets it. Essentially, that is almost a nail in the coffin. If Lizz can hit that red piece and angle into the 20, she can tie them up. But then all Jay would need to do would be to hit one piece in a fair shot on an open board to win. So it's a very low likelihood that Brooklyn's going to pull out on top on this one. Even a tie. They would definitely not pull it on top, but even a tie would be the win. So, but that seems unlikely. Lizz gets just a bit off the line for the angle in. The last shot's not even necessary at this point, but I think Jay's going to take it anyway and just get the clear or possibly the conversion. He just gets the clear, and that's all he needs. Okay, so now it's 4-4. Eat a Bag of Discs from Brooklyn versus Irish Steel from Extra Pint, New York. Got some open 20s action starting off the round. Tied in the cup. Jay goes a little long on that one. Ryan has to try and do a conversion. He's going to go up the middle. He rolls to the right, which is not a bad thing. It's a little past a scoreable position for Magic. Magic comes back and leaves it just sitting right on the edge of the hole, but not in a spot where Lizz has a chance of converting, really. Without a follow-through, it's just going to be almost impossible. There is a slight possibility of a touch from the left side, but I don't think she likes that left side angle. Let's see what she does. Yeah, she decides that that's not a great way to go and wants instead to do the follow-through. Not that either shot is particularly easy. I think it's just easier from the right side, possibly. Lizz gets a lot of action off the pegs and ends up bouncing way out into Magic's territory. Jay has no problem sniping through the house. Ryan just does a clear here and rolls off to Lizz's side to give Lizz an easy shot on her turn. It's good partner work there, good placement work for the partners. Magic has a false start. I really hate to see this. It's one of those things that occasionally happens, and it's devastating to just throw away a piece. But of course, everyone's good sportsmen, and they just continue to play. Magic throws his disc away, and everyone continues on. Here we go. Ryan just has to clear. I think he's got a good line from outside the house. There you go. Don't forget, Brooklyn has the hammer on this one, and the cup is tied. So technically, Brooklyn is in the lead. A tie won't do it. That will only push both teams up to 5-5. So someone needs to win if we're going to end this match after this round. Lizz is looking for a clear here. Unfortunately, she jammed off a peg and bounced her piece right off the board. Not the worst situation, but not great. It's going to leave Ryan facing either a double takeout or some kind of angled shot or a really far clear on the far side of the board. So I think Ryan's looking for any way he can maybe manufacture a double out of this. And he just gets one takeout with a follow through that lands him in the house, but not too far into the house. Magic is looking to get a little action off that peg there. Ends up not doing too much with it. Lizz has to decide what she wants to do with this. Looks like she just wants to stick on the outside, maybe. And Lizz puts an angle on that piece, ends up hitting a peg and bouncing right off the board, which is kind of worst case scenario because Jay steps in and does a 20. Ryan has to do a follow through just to catch up at this point, and his follow through hits a little too much to the right and rolls him out of the house. Magic is looking for an open 20 to put the nail in the coffin here. At this point, the only thing blue team can do is tie, which would save the match for them. But if they don't get the next two 20s, and if red team gets their 20, it's over. Lizz puts one down. That's good. Now this will end the match right here. If Jay gets this 20, the match is officially over. And that's it. Looks like no matter what Ryan does, whether he 20s or not, the match is over. Good sportsmanship, shaking hands. Everyone had a great round. Irish Steel wins it. Let's go to some of the highlight shots from the round. These are some of the most interesting shots of the day. Lizz manages a nice little touch there with a rebound off a peg for the far piece. Jay gets a double and rolls in a bit. That was a nice shot. That was somewhere early in the match. Ryan gets one of these unusual peg clears. I think he has one more of those coming up. They were sort of unintentional, but still very interesting to watch. Ends up clearing another one, just randomly pouncing off two pegs and getting exactly the shot he wants. But then again, to showcase that Ryan is a very good shot, he still manages a nice shot as well. That was clearly intentional. Magic doing his thing, getting a takeout or a little touch 20 there. And another conversion with a clear. Good shooting all around. Magic has another very unusual conversion here. That was a beautiful takeout clear with a 20. All right, thank you for following along. You can follow along with the rest of the BCC content if you follow the links below. Also, check out the Extra Pint Crokinole Club for their U.S. Open. Thank you.